Hello, my name is Indot, and I am here at the Hillville Cemetery with another cemetery reflection. And it's another rainy day, so I'm just sitting in my vehicle, and it's this is probably the latest I've ever been at the cemetery. It's 9 something in. It's not that late, but I mean it's the latest I've been. Well, I don't know if it's the latest I've been to a cemetery, but it's the latest that I'm doing a cemetery reflection at the cemetery. And today I want to talk about fear. And I've heard things about being at a cemetery at midnight, and that it's scary and all that. And so I was just thinking, as Christians we have nothing to fear. We, you know, and so that's kind of it. That's kind of the point I want to get across. Is that God? And so so the rest of this video I'm going to be elaborating on that. So let me elaborate and kind of explain what I mean. So God is so big, so strong, and so mighty. There is nothing our God cannot do. So when we believe in Him, when we love Him, when we have Him by our side, or when we're by His side, we have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear. And there's so many things that people are afraid of, that Satan tries to make us afraid of. I know when I was a younger kid, I was afraid of the dark, afraid of, and now as an older kid, I'm afraid of maybe what people think of me. And there's just so many things. I'm kind of afraid of what people think of me. I'm not really afraid of what people think of me. I try to be, different and crazy, kind of, because I'm not really afraid of what people think of me, but I am kind of afraid of what people think of me. And there's so many different fears we have. Fears of, getting made fun of. Fears of, fears. Just there's so many fears, and when we believe in God, we don't have nothing to fear. I recently read an amazing book series. And the book series, it talked about a lot. It was an allegorical book series about the enchanted city and a wicked enchanter and a king. And one nice thing that I got from the book is that siders are not afraid. That's one phrase that kind of struck out to me. That siders are not afraid. And what I was talking about is those who see the king aren't afraid. And I really liked that. That really I really like that. I really like that phrase. That siders are not afraid. When we see the King, when we see God, we don't have to be afraid. And in that book series and in real life, Satan wants to make us think that seeing is believing, but it's the other way around. If you believe in God's power, you will see God's power. If you believe in God, you will see God. And believing comes before seeing. Because if you refuse to believe in God, it's going to be impossible for you to ever see Him. Because refusing to believe in God is like refusing to see Him, because He's right there. There's so much evidence for God all over the world. And so refusing to believe in Him is refusing to see Him. And so, but if you believe, believing comes first, and you believe in God, and if you see God, you have nothing to be afraid of. And it's so awesome, Go through life, we don't have to be scared of the dark, we don't have to be scared of demons, we don't have to be scared of Satan, we don't have to be scared of what other people think of us, we don't have to be scared of anything. When we see God, and He's everywhere. He's with you, and He's with me, and He's everywhere, and He cares about us, and He loves us. And we don't have nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. It's so awesome. So someday, and not today because I have to get home because it's getting late. Someday I would like to be at a cemetery at midnight, but I mean, and that's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be scared of, because like I said, when we have God, there's nothing to be scared of. And a cemetery is kind of one of the least, well, of my fears, and the least least thing that we'd have to be afraid of, I think, of being in a cemetery at midnight. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of there. But there are so many fears and things that we're afraid of in our day-to-day life that we need to take those fears to Jesus, take them to God, and just give them to Him, and just, kind of, just take your fears to Him in prayer, and just kind of say, Lord, I am afraid of that, Lord, and just help me not to be afraid of that. And He will help you. He loves you, and He's gonna, and He will take away your fears. Guess that's all for now. See you sometime soon with another cemetery reflection.